Johnson and Leo Gagan, both with us this afternoon, bringing you the action. And let's go through a couple of the cars.
Pole position on the grid is Bill Christie with a time of 61.2 seconds, which is a little outside the lap record. Second position is Gavin Green, the son of Evan Green. Third position is Terry Fortley. Fourth position Alan Goldsmith. Fifth position Peter Houston. Sixth position Doug Angus. And for the viewers' interest, there is less than 1 second between about the first 10 cars, and this really typifies Formula V racing. It's very, very competitive. This is Gavin Green in the Endrust car on your screen at the moment. He's only about 19 years of age, and he's a very determined young man in racing, and he's just come back from an overseas trip with his father. And I think that you'll find that Gavin, if he's got the financial capacity to be able to continue on in racing, should be very, very competent indeed after he's got a little bit more experience in this category. But he has proven very, very competitive, and I think that his time of being second position on the grid is adequate proof of that. This should be a very, very close race. A number of the cars on your screen at the moment were driven by some of the leading drivers, Bartlett, Leffler, and so on, in an earlier demonstration race today, and the top drivers weren't actually as quick as some of the Formula V drivers were.
Quite so. Well, an interesting race up front with Christie and, of course, young Gavin Green in number 7. Let's see who gets away the fastest. Courtley, of course, is one that bears watching in this particular race. Once they get going over the top of Bitchapay for the first time, you'll notice this train of cars almost glued together. They're racing, and let's see who picks it up. It's Gavin Green off fairly smartly on the outside. Christie, though, goes with him as they come up the straight for the first time. The rest of the cars just now starting to bunch up as they approach the top of Bitchapay. Now head down towards Dunlop Curve for the first time. Let's see who wins the race to the top of the hill. Over the top, and it turned out to be Christie with Green positioned back in third. Courtley has already advanced to second place, so Green's going to have a fairly hard job from there. You can't afford to drop back 1 or 2 positions at the start here at Amaroo Park in this very, very competitive category.
Actually, I tend to call Formula V mosquito racing because it's by no means a come down when I say that, but they are so closely bunched together that they look like an advertisement for a whole lot of mosquitoes inside a bottle. There's that twisting and turning everywhere. Often as not, there are a number of accidents. In the race earlier this morning, a number of drivers ran out of road and had accidents, but so far, as they come into Rothmans Corner, there haven't been any accidents to date, and that's a good sign because the first lap of any Formula V race, you've got a lot of inexperienced drivers together, and they tend to allow the adrenaline in their bloodstream to get the better of their judgment.
Well, back to the mosquito race. With Christie out in front, but about to be tackled here by Courtley on the inside. Green back in third, tied in there with about 3 or 4 other cars over the top, and it's Courtley now who takes over the front running from Christie. Green back in 4th place as they go through Dunlop, and now out of that corner it's still fairly close between the front running 6 to 8 cars. Courtley, a lead that is by no means a big one, as you can see, probably inches or centimetres.
That's quite a long lead in the Formula V race.
That is actually, isn't it?
Terry Courtley would be by far the most experienced driver in this year's event. He was one of the pioneers of Formula V in Australia, and he's been very successful over the years. Moved up for a while and had a stint in a Formula 2 car, and it was my old Lotus 32 who was going up the hill here through Victor Curve some years ago that he had a lose and absolutely demolished the car.
As you can see, a low angle shot here on the main straightaway. The cars just zoom past. You can hear the noise in the background as they go up the top of Bitchapay Hill once again. Not much between them from the leader back to probably the 16th running car. Peter Houston, I noticed, was coming up smartly through the pack there, and goodness gracious, I think the lead's almost changed the game. Through Dunlop this time, they're really starting to bunch up, with Christie, I think, going back into the lead. Courtley back in second behind him. Green still looking for any sort of room as they now approach the run down to Honda, and they are very, very close indeed. Here's Christie still leading as they come off that corner. Courtley back in second place. Further back in the field of Green, but he's being tackled this time on the inside by another car, so he's not having the easiest of runs in this Formula V event.
Yes, well, you can see for yourself on the screen just how competitive this class of racing is. You can see how quickly the positions in the race change, and you can see how little margin there is for error in any type of corner whatsoever where the cars diving and ducking out of each other's slipstream to try and get an advantage on the inside line for a particular corner. Formula Vs are a little deceptive. They're not but very powerful. They're only basically a stock standard Volkswagen engine. That's why they're called Formula V for VW, basically. But it's a very good apprenticeship category of racing. Terry Quartley, of course, could hardly be classified as an apprentice in racing, but he's learnt a great deal from his overall involvement in racing, and I think you'll find that he knows how to position his car very well, because Formula V racing is a little bit like driving in the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. You know, if you're in front of the last corner, you don't necessarily win the event. And Formula V racing is a tremendous amount of craft of positioning your car and knowing the talents of other drivers so that you can in fact have the advantage as you go across the line. And I've seen many Formula V races where a guy has been 200 yards away from the finishing line at a circuit like Sandown, and he's actually ended up running about fourth.
Yes.
He's been passed, and it's that's the type of racing it is. But it's pole position holder Bill Christie, who is holding the front position at the moment. He's followed by Terry Quartley, Goldsmith and Gavin Green. Alan Goldsmith, of course, is driving a green car, number 22. You can just see it on your screen there. He's in fourth position. That was the car that was driven earlier today by Formula 5000 driver John Leffler. In fact, we've got John Leffler here very briefly. John, what's it like to drive a Formula V?
Frightening.
You always were frightened easily, though. Okay, Christie still leads on the approach down to Honda. Christie, of course, the fastest qualifier for this race at 101.2, only 3/10 of a second faster than the rest of the field, and that's just about the lead that he has over his challengers. They're still thick and fast, and they're coming very quickly from behind as they go down to Rothmans once again.
Interesting in this race, Doug Angus is back at fifth, even though it's only probably 50 yards from the leader. And that's an unusual place to see Doug, because he's been pretty well monopolising Formula V racing lately. He was back on the grid at the start. Possibly he had a little bit of trouble in practice.
5 laps down and 5 still remain in this fantastic TUW Formula V race from Amaroo Park, with Christie still the race leader. Goldsmith still one's gone straight up the bank. One has exited the course, and you see the stewards very, very quickly, the flag marshals. Obviously it either locked a throttle open, but just turned left and went clear over the top of the bank. We'll have to try and see if we can find out some more information on that for you as the race progresses. Back to the event, and Christie still leading, getting it out on the dirt, and this has allowed Goldsmith to close up. Quartley has also closed up, and so too has Houston. And once again, it's Quartley now coming down the inside in 77, looking for an inside pass. As you can see, now he has advanced to second place in the field, so the lead could change another 1 or 2 times more even in this lap. And just look how close they are with Quartley. Goldsmith is in there too. Anyone's race in this Formula V event so far.
Actually, I think the driver that went up over the top could have been Gavin Green, because I notice his car's not around at the moment, and I've tried to peruse the field, but they're all very good sign to see that. They're waving the yellow flag. The experienced drivers have acknowledged it and are making an intentional movement to slow down. Of course, it is illegal under motor racing to pass under a yellow flag, and it's almost immediate disqualification if you in fact do pass under a yellow flag. A yellow flag, of course, for the viewer's interest, is waved, and it denotes extreme caution.
Okay, back to the race again as they come off Honda corner. Car number 9 back in front, Christie, followed through by 77 Quartley, then Goldsmith coming up smartly indeed. So as you can see, the lead has just changed hands lap after lap, and the man who was fastest in practice yesterday is back leading the race once again. Christie, car number 9, down Shell Straight, beneath the Rothmans Tower, and now up Mitchell Pave Hill.
Yes, well, it's very interesting, this particular race, not only from the very fierce dicing that's going on, but basically the positions in the race are being held by the people as they were positioned on the grid. In other words, first position on the grid is holding first position. Terry Quartley, of course, who was third on the grid, is now holding second because Gavin Green is no longer in contention. Third position at the moment seems to be held by Peter Houston, and fourth position by Alan Goldsmith. He's, of course, Alan Goldsmith in a distinctive yellow car. You'll notice the first and third cars have the distinctive air boxes. I don't really know what value they have in Formula V. You might be able to tell me, do they really have any value at all, air boxes?
Well, Well, I think it's one of those things where somebody put one on and everybody else, or not everybody, but a lot of other fellows thought it might be a good idea. But as you see, there's a mixture of cars with and without airboxes, so their advantage must be debatable. One good thing on that incident on the top of the hill, no service vehicles or ambulances on the circuit, so we can safely assume that Gavin is all right. That was a very, very nasty type of accident to have.
Okay, talking about no passing under the yellow. Now we have them two abreast over the top of Bitchupave Hill. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. Quartley now goes back into the lead. Debatable whether or not he passed under the yellow. Christie back in second place as they go through Dunlop, and the race continues with about 1.5 laps remaining. Next time around they'll take the last lap signal. And the race is still wide open.
Yes, there's absolutely nothing in it. Quartley's in the front at the moment. But he has been passed. He was.
I think you
just
blinked,
goes to
John,
show.
you blinked.
Yes, Bill Christie first, Quartley second, Goldsmith third. This is the way it should stay.
Down towards Rothmans now, and number 9, Christie still the leader from Quartley. Quartley has a habit of just sneaking back into the lead somewhere up the top part of the circuit. They're coming through Ron Hodson and now onto Shell straight away. The siren has gone. The last lap board is already out, telling the drivers they've got one more lap to hang it all out and try and resolve this event. Christie goes back into the lead, but here they come charging again. 3 wide, they'll come over the top of the hill here, or 2.5 wide anyway. Now down towards Dunlop. Christie still in front.
Terry
Quartley's now gone from the lead back to third in 1 lap.
Yep.
And still the leader, Christie.
The second car's in the box seat here. He's in a really good position to get a tow up over the line. Bill Christie certainly wouldn't be relaxing. Peter Houston is really there, and he'll probably make his attempt running down Vane Straight and have a go at brakes at Rothman's corner.
Well, there it is. This is the last test for everyone. Houston has decided to have a shot. Quartley wants a go at Christie. Christie's just got to hang it in there if he can, but he's got them right on the outside here as they come around for the final time. Houston charging here on the inside. I don't know whether he can do it or not. Tries to swing out. Now comes down side by side, and Christie goes on to win it from Houston. You couldn't wish for a better finish, a closer finish to a race than that, and I guess in some respects Christie deserved the win. He had the lead about 8 times out of 10 and had it at the right time, the last corner and the run to the flag. That's only typical of the type of action we'll be bringing you throughout the day here from Amaroo Park Raceway when we return. Okay, returning here to Amaroo Park Raceway, relating back to that Formula V event that we had before the commercial break. Gavin Green, the driver involved in an accident. Apparently Gavin is quite okay. When I say quite okay, he may have a leg injury, but apart from that there's certainly nothing more serious than that, and believe me, it looked more serious than that when he just pole vaulted straight over the top of the bank. We're in the middle of the corner there, as you can see. We're limited with the shot at that area. But I don't know, John Davison, perhaps you might have some thoughts on whether the throttle or he's climbed a wheel. We only saw Gavin just go straight past the camera position and straight up the bank. Let's go back to it. Here we are over the top of the hill, and you'll notice in just a moment the car goes straight past the camera spot. There he goes, straight up the bank.
2 cars went off, Doug Angus and Gavin Green. Of course, all the smoke and everything everywhere makes it look a lot worse than it really is.
Yes, well, we're pleased so far with the news that we've had from the top of Bitchupave Hill, or down towards Dunlop rather, that nobody has been seriously injured, but of course it's a precaution that the officials have gone up to make sure everyone was quite okay.